Alright, welcome to another Chief Hammer battle report. This time it's going to be against AI again, and I modify a little bit the style of list creation just in order to be able to balance it as best as possible. So that it wouldn't be this time an asymmetrical battle report. So this one is going to be roughly the same numbers, 2,500 points on each side. Now the way that I did it, or the way that I randomized this army lists, it was basically what I did is I created this flux chart, the same thing that I used to do with ChatGPT. Now I did it with Grok, and it was to create this randomizer. To be able to create random lists, but I made it pretty simple, just in order to keep. I didn't went overdo with the or went overboard with magical items, battle standard bearers, and all these things, because the problem is like when you put so much data on it, or when you ask them to do so much calculation. It really doesn't deliver. It really does not deliver on that sense. It it starts having hallucinations. It starts spewing data that you didn't ask for. It starts telling you stuff that doesn't make any sense. Starts allocating random items to characters that don't make sense at all, like roomfangs into like mages and stuff like that. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna stick with just the regular upgrades of the army, and I'm going to keep AI just in order to be in a simple way. Army list building, random army list building, which I will go through in a second, and picture and response, picture and response. This is happening, what are you gonna do? This is happening, what are you gonna do? This is happening, what are you gonna do? And with as much examples and as much visual help as possible, just to be able to keep it on the level that it needs to be. No more consultation of the profiles or character profiles, because it comes out with some weird stuff. It just comes out. Last battle, I don't know what is going on with AIs lately, but they are seriously just going down. It's just crazy how bad they are getting. But anyway, I mean, like, if you can keep it small, with small responses, small analysis, picture analysis and stuff like that, that'll be fine. Because like last time I was making consultations and I was like, okay, pull up the character profile of Soros warriors. And I was like, he just pulled out character profiles of any other race. It's like, oh yeah, here you go. It's a swordsman of the empire. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. This is what I ask you. And then it gaslights you a little bit and says, oh, sorry, here it is. And it's another one that it's a mistake. So it just doesn't make sense, both of them. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to skip this. So what I did in order to correct that is like, on one app, you have to have your list somewhere so you can just consult yourself. Just don't trust this thing for consultation. It's gonna pick up on some rules and it's going to be not right most of the time. So what you want is to exclusively use the AI for picture analysis, decision making. Picture analysis, decision making. Game is very straightforward in a lot of senses. So if you keep it in that way, it kind of, it's like, then you can have a battle. Then the battle can make sense. If you ask for too much information, it's just gonna trip over itself and it's just gonna start telling you some of the most random, stupid shit that you wouldn't even imagine. So if you keep it simple, you can still enjoy a good game of, as I said before, of this target practice, sort of like Warhammer stuff. So that it prepares you in terms of rules or practicing some lists and stuff like that, in order for make you better for a tournament or make you better for an upcoming battle. Like when I play with my brother and his high elves, or he uses one of my armies and stuff like that. That's, I think, is the most important. Anyway. So what I did is basically with the randomizer that I created, I asked him, okay, first the boundaries of army list creation, which is like 50% maximal, it has to be characters and heroes, and 25% minimum core, 50% maximum on special, and 25% maximum on rare. Now what you have to have is a list, an inventory list of all of your units, all of your physical models. Also, the important thing to have with that is that you classify them, and you also put how many of them do you have, because you're going to just work with like the minimal unit size, and then increase it and double it or triple it, however you want, but stay on those numbers, in those range of numbers. It's much easier. Let's say, for example, minimum is 10 Soros warriors, so 10 Soros warriors, and if you want to duplicate it, it's 20 Soros warriors, stuff like that. So that's it. But make sure that in the list you lay out that it's like, okay, I have 40 Soros warriors, it's 4 units of 10 guys, and then it can work on those things. So the first thing is to randomize the percentages, which is like, okay, for a summation of 100%. So it's like, okay, it's going to be 13% heroes and so much and so much and so much, total sum 100%. Then it recognizes those percentages, translated into the amount of points that it has to be, and then picks up. It's another thing that I put over there, consult unit points cost on the internet to corroborate if they work. If you can put them. Once that's done, it starts selecting all the units perfectly, no upgrades, and of course also another thing, no upgrades. And then the next step that it does is like the first step is the percentages. The second one is unit selection. Third one is going to be unit deployment. Now what I did, and this worked for me, is like I just told them, you know what, listen, what you're gonna say is you're gonna take all the units that are in the game and you're going to select a random order of them, and you're just gonna assign each one of them. Either it's going to be far left or left, center, center right, or right. Choose one of those 5 and just this unit, this unit, that one, this unit, that one, and then it creates all of these random deployments. So that gives it the second layer of randomness. You really don't know what you're going to get. And then you start like putting the units, however the AI randomly assign them a position. So you come up with something like this, for both sides. And finally, the last one is just like, okay, it's leaving 20% of the list void, so you can just upgrade it as much as you want. And one final step that I added is like, you get a 25% chance on a roll of 100 of getting either an ally, a mercenary unit, or a special unit. Like it could be the Luminarch of Hish, like you've seen it before, that I use it on the battlefield. It could be one of those 3. And the second one is you get a 25% of getting 1 magical item and 10% of getting 2 magical items. So that's pretty much it, It's like you can still name any of your units the battle standard bearer. You can just do the regular upgrades. But when it comes to magical weapons, it's just to make them more interesting and more special. I've seen lately that some of them they really don't deliver when it comes to battlefield and when it comes to gaming. But it just depends, but at least it gives you that chance of getting some magical things or none. And finally, the last one is just the assignment of the lore of magic, and that's the last one. It like takes the mage and it assigns it a random spell, a random lore. In this case, for example, the level 4 over here has battle magic, and the level 2 over here has dark magic, and the level 4 over there has high magic. It's usually the ones that I use, but I mean, like it coincidentally this time it just assigned those, but it can be demonology, necromancy, it could be anything. So that gives you a complete randomness setting. Of course, the other random factor is like the type of battle. This one was the match play game number 1, which is Upon the Hills of Glory. And it came with 4 objectives, as you can see it by those glowing banners over here. I decided to not put any more scenery. I'm just going to put these things. I'm just gonna walk over them and just keep in the videos. I will see and I'll remind myself where they are and who's capturing it. But it's much more easier just to have the banners over there. It's passable terrain, so they can just walk through it, so no problem with that. And the second one is the baggage train. So I got these like wagons from the Wild West, and these are going to be the baggage trains. I haven't painted them yet, but that will be painted, you know. And that's the other layer. It can include baggage trains and stuff like that. Everything is just random. So it's baggage train and 4 objectives. Anyway, now let's go through the list. For the Empire, for the lizardmen is going to be 1 unit of 10 Soros warriors. By the way, I changed the movement trace so that it could be the correct size that it's supposed to be, because Soros warriors are no more 25 millimeters by 25 millimeters square bases. They're 30. And so anyway, I changed those movement trays, so now they are the correct size. Anyway, so 10 Soros warriors, full command, 10 Soros warriors, full command, 10 Soros warriors, full command, a unit of 20 temple guard with the slant mage priest inside of it. No disciple, no disciplines of the old ones, no magic items, just battle standard bearer. I didn't even got a banner to put on them, so that's that. 10 Gold 1 riders, 2 units of skiing skirmishers, both of them are in scouts, so they're waiting. 5 jungle swarms, 10 Soros warriors, 6 Gold 1 riders, and this guy's actually got the 25%, so they end up having the ogre, the Badlands ogre bulls as mercenaries, and they're going to be equipped with great weapons. Everything else has just been equipped as best as possible. Now for the Empire. For the Empire, we will have a unit of 45 halberdiers, veteran state troopers, with a general of the Empire, a lector of Sigmar, and a wizard level 4 mage, a great cannon, hellblaster, volley gun, mortar, 7 knights of the White Wolf as allies, with a Templar. It's not the Templar Master, it's like the one that it's 1 level before him, 1 level lower than him, as allies. A mortar, 10 flagellants, a unit of 30 swordsmen, full command, with a priest of Sigmar, and a level 2 wizard, 2 great cannons, 1 steam tank. There's the baggage train. Anyway, so that's that. Let's go through the spells. For the slam, we're going to have Corporeal Unmaking, Shield of Sapphire, Tempest, and Walk Between Worlds. I decided to not change any of them to the Lore of Lustria. I think these ones are fine. And finally, for the Empire, this one's going to have Doombolt and Phantasmagoria. Of course, I got the Prayers of Sigmar as well over here. And this one's going to have Fireball, Curse of the Arrow Attraction, Curse of the Cowardly Flight, and Oaken Shield. So that's that. Let's roll. Sorry, the last one got interrupted, got cut it. Let's roll to see who goes first and which one of the armies, which is the last random factor, which one of the armies is going to be played by me and which one is going to be played by Grok. So I have to roll to see which one do I get, and we'll see who gets turn number 1. All right, so it's going to be Empire turn 1. Now before that, I have to read this main strategy of Grok, and it's going to be as it follows. It says, Empire strategy locked in. Defensive gun line castle versus lizardmen. Thanks to clear the spell cards and references. Here's the full Empire battle plan tailored to this matchup. Deployment and our spells. We're playing a classic gunline plus castle, central castle to maximize our artillery advantage. while weathering the Saurus grind and call 1 charges. Overall plant and wind conditions. Core philosophy. Okay, what the hell? Hold the shoreline with the durable infantry blocks, halberdiers and shoremen as anvil. Use mass artillery plus Hell Blaster to delete high value targets. Slant Temple Guard. And so pretty much just using his cannons and everything against my Temple Guard. Where is it? Over there. Yeah, well, that's reasonable. Slant Temple Guard bunker first. Then call once. I suppose he's going to go first for the unit of 10. And then the ogres, it says. And steam tank plus knights plus flagellants as the hammer for counter charges. Control the center and baggage train objectives. Control center, like don't allow anything to move that direction, and don't allow anybody to capture the baggage train. And then it says flagellants as the counter, control center, baggage terrain objectives. Key advantages: superior range, fire and power, 3 cannons, 2 mortars, 1 hell blaster, and steam cannon gun. Good magic defense via prayers, items, unbreakable, stubborn elements. Lizards rely on cold-blooded reliability and close combat. We make cross the killing field. Okay. Risks to mitigate: land magic dominance. Magic really doesn't play such an interesting role in Warhammer the Old World, at least what I have been experiencing anyway. It's land magic dominance, call 1 impact charges, skin chaff redirection, ogre smashing a flank, or our castle is compact to limit multi-charges. Okay, so that's pretty much like the overall strategy, but we're going to go one by one in a turn with its movement and everything, because it's already the basic reference sheet has been uploaded already to the chat, so it knows exactly what the turns are, how to play them, etc. So now it's up to them to make the decisions, the movements and everything, but the main focus or the main strategy has been decided. Anyway, so it's on to Empire turn 1. All right, end of Empire turn 1. According to the strategy, everything moved just to hold or to be defensive. So 45 stayed over there. They got actually Shield of Faith, and this unit also had Shield of Faith. So they got their both prayers of Sigmar. They tried to cast Oaken Shield, didn't work. So they moved forward to try and cast Fireball against that unit over there, and it failed. And the Hell Blaster shoot at the Jungle Swarms, and it was actually like 18 shots, but they are long range and they're skirmishers, so they pretty much didn't land any hits, just 2 wounds. Cannon shoot at the main unit, took out 2, I think it was. The other cannon from the steam tank shoot at that unit, and it took out another 3, so that's 5 of them gone. These cannons couldn't shoot. They had to move to be able to dislodge from this gap over there, so that the steam tank could go through. So they didn't shoot. This block over here threw a Doom Bolt against that unit. I tried to dispel it with a Faded Dispel. Didn't work, so 2 more down. Unit move over here. Mortar shot against the main unit. Scatter and hit some other units, but didn't cause any damage. Just on strength 2, it's not enough. And that's about it for Empire turn 1. Let's go to Lizardmen turn 1. Alright, end of Lizardmen turn 1. I move everything. Unit of Skink Skirmishers popped over there. Shot at this great cannon, caused 2 wounds at it. You gotta they were shooting at 6s, and they got quick shot. So there was 6s and 2s. All of them were poisoned. So that allowed me to land 3 hits, and it was on 4s because of the poison wounds. It's +2 on hitting, and I managed to cast 2 wounds on that cannon. 5 wounds on this unit of the veteran state troopers, Everything else just marched forward. I left the objective. I really didn't care about it. March, march, march. It's everything. It's trying to get everything over there as soon as possible. Because if I just keep getting shot, it's just I'm gonna lose my units. The good thing is I got Shield of Zafri and I got Walk Between Worlds with this unit. So they got a 5+ ward save and they're ethereal. So they're pretty indestructible at this point. So it's all about the decisions that Groks want to make. Because I'm going to just take a picture. That's how you have to operate with it. It's like it has to make the decisions in critical circumstances so that it's on him. What is he going to do? So it's going to be a picture of this place, and I'm going to say like, here I am. What are you gonna do with these guys? What are you gonna do with those guys? What are you gonna do with those guys? Are you gonna charge me or everything? So the limited decision making so that you can optimize your usage of data with the AI so you can use it as best as possible for critical decision points. And that's how you have like that percentage of usage or challenge that comes from an external point, that comes from something else, that is not just like you just trying to think about what would it be doing or anything, or just playing with yourself. In a sense, the idea is basically laid out the strategy. That's why the first thing that I did is like you create the lists, you upload them, you upload the pictures, you upload the deployments, you upload the magics, and all of these things, and of course the reference sheet, so it knows specifically what game is it playing. It's very compressed information. Then it's going to tell you the main strategy, to stick with it. You move how the main strategy could possibly be doing, and the critical decisions, those you leave it to make those critical points and stuff like that. Casting magic and stuff like that, those can be made by the machine. The other things are very logical on what to do with them, but just leave it at critical decisions and you will have a nice opponent that you can just practice with. So that's going to be over here for the Empire to decide. I still got some of the things to move over here. I popped the shots over there. Couldn't cast. Actually, one of the temple guard has the ruby ring of ruin, but I couldn't cast it anyway, because I marched. But as far as I'm concerned, I think this is good. It's like trying to push everything forward. And this side, even though there's a steam tank over there and everything, I think I got a pretty good chance of just destroying this whole side with everything that I got on the next 2 turns. So let's see what the Empire does on the next turn. So on to Empire turn 2. All right, so it's decisions have been made by Grok. This one is not gonna charge. It said stay put because it said if I charge over there, you're just gonna charge me with the bulls and it's just going to destroy my unit. These guys are not gonna charge over there because they want to stay put. They couldn't do any damage over there, and he realized he couldn't necessarily win the battle against them. He just decided, I say, you could charge into that unit, the picture was there, charge into that, guys. No, said stay put. All right, whatever you want. Fanatics said charge into those guys. No, stay put. These guys are not in charge range, and the only thing that I recommended is move your steam tank over there, use your grape shot and your steam gun to try to just maybe pulverize that unit over there. Said go for it. So those are the key decisions. This is actually how you can reduce the game into key decisions, just pictures and key decisions, and then you will have the perfect balance to try to play these games. Also, obviously, the factor that the lists were made randomly by the randomizer and by the AI. The deployment was random. Everything is random. The objects are random. Every one of these things. So you have basically a very, very, very randomized sort of battle that you could just keep playing and practicing rules and stuff like that. And you got key decisions that are made by an AI, so it's not made by you. You let the AI make the decision. Obviously, it's it's pretty obvious what the decision could be, but it could surprise you, because it analyzes what are the power ups or what are the possibilities with some units, and just takes decisions according to maybe those are not the best things to do with this or this or this guys. Anyway, so let's just go for turn number 2, sorry, of Empire. Right, end of Empire turn 2. Cast a fireball against the jungle swarms, created 11 wounds. It rolled a double 6, and it just like it did so many wounds. That unit is so crippled, but it's still standing there. These guys had the Shield of Faith upon them, so they have a 5+ ward save against shooting. Cast the Oaken Shield against this guy, because since it's gonna get charged by these guys, maybe it can hold. Don't know. They already had a 5+ ward save against shooting, so it wouldn't make much sense. I mean, besides, these guys are not gonna charge them, and these guys are not gonna charge them, so just put it over here just to use it. Hellblaster shot at the Cold One Riders, knocked out 4 of them. Mortar shot, didn't land in anything. Mortar couldn't shoot at anything because those guys are ethereal. Doombolt was casted, nothing. These guys, this cannon shot at that unit, and the ball went past them. And this one actually landed 2 wounds, so it killed another 2. They passed their test. Now the steam tank, it rolled a double 1, so it took a wound and it halted, so it couldn't move over that direction. And then when it tried to use its steam cannon, it misfired, so it gave it another wound as well. So yeah, not good for this, for the steam tank. Anyway, on to Lizardman turn 2. All right, end of Lizardman turn 2. The jungle swarms charged over here, and they got completely destroyed. I mean, the only good thing is like there was 1 wound remaining from all of them, and since they are unbreakable, it's 10. So it gave ground, obviously, and the unit restrained according to the critical decision from Grok. Because if it moved forward, it's just gonna get in a better position to get charged by the Badlands Ogre Bulls. But anyway, that aside, it's just gonna get shot again. Over here, even with the Oaken Shield, they managed to kill the last guy, the skirmishers. They overrun, and now they are attacking the Hellblaster volley gun. Over here, the Cold One Riders eliminated the Knights of the White Wolf. They got the counter charge, and they decided to use their wolf hammers. Of course, because it's a charge that is not more than 3 inches, they don't get all the bonuses, but otherwise they wouldn't do any damage to the unit. And even with the wolf hammers, which uses 2 hands, so you cannot use your shield, and not using the shield means no parry and no shield bonification. But that was the decision, the critical decision made by Grok. Do you want them to be sturdier, or do you want to cause damage? He thought because of initiative that he could cause damage. He just killed 1 of them, and then I just wailed upon him. And because of all this, I got my obsidian blades, so that's -1 armor piercing. So when they are saving at heavy armor and barding, that's already force at 5s. With no ward save, that's already a handicap. With his shield and his parry, it could actually just change the dynamic. But the chapter master didn't do any wounds against them. I think he was the only one that actually did a wound against them. And then, but they threw really bad as well as the horses. So everything just attacked on them, did just 1 wound. And then I did 10 attacks +1 with obsidian blades. I managed to hit all of them because they were using their wolf hammers. There was no saves against the wounds. So 4 of them were just killed at the first round of combat. And then there was the cold ones. And they did 2 attacks each, and I actually didn't land any armor veins, because there were no 6s. But still, I mean, like with just a regular claws, it was just like -1 armor piercing. So again, 5s, and then the 3 remaining just got completely wasted. So yeah, the whole unit collapsed, and there was no banner, so it was charged, which was nullified by counter charge. So there was charge on both sides, but I got close order, got the banner, got all the wounds, and he just had like close order, stuff like that. So he had to roll on double 1s. He rolled pretty high, and on pursuit, I managed to capture him and then overrun into the mortar. So now the mortar is gonna get killed. Next, the Temple Guard. They didn't perform as I was expecting. You know, the Fanatics can really torpedo another unit. And now, since I killed some of them, they're going to have more attacks on the next round. So they actually they have their 5+ ward save because of when they get attacked on melee. So they stayed and they're unbreakable. So they torpedoed my unit. So I'm going to ask Grok if he wants to charge probably on the flank of this unit. I don't know how that movement could possibly happen because it's getting locked over there with this guy. He'll have to do some sort of like this kind of maneuver. I think it is possible, but could be possibly the possibility could be that this unit ends up charging this unit on the flank. So that's not good. And the rest of it, not much change, but I think I can hold them over here. I think it's possible that I can just manage over here and wait for all this to get destroyed, because the targets have just been limited. And over there I can still hold. I can maybe just go for my Soros Warriors, the Badland Ogre Bulls, and hopefully this unit stops being stupid and just do something. Yeah, sometimes I cannot like count on them. Sometimes they perform really well and sometimes they seriously just suck at the whole game. But I'll have to march them forward and just get them close. Anyway, so it's on to Empire turn 3. All right, end of Empire turn 3. Well, terrible turn for the Empire. This unit just casted Oaken Shield and has Soul Fire, so it's getting ready for the oncoming attacks of the Ogre Bulls. Which they have been hurt, so not much gonna come over here. But either they get charged by these guys and probably by the Soros Warriors. I'm going to try to charge them with both, but they're a tough unit, so they can still hold. They got some great weapons, halberd, stuff like that, so they can do some damage. But over here, the War Machine also didn't stand. Got killed the whole crew, got removed. This guy's reform. So obviously I could also charge with everything at the same time and try to destroy them in combat resolution. So that could be the case. But anyway, on this side, of course, the Covan Riders murder the mortar, reform, and now they're facing this mortar. In this next turn, this is gonna charge and destroy it. And over here, this unit got charged on the flank by the swordsman, and it was completely a counterproductive move, because they charged on the flank, and obviously it was like the decision was by my Grok. It's like they got nothing else to do. They can just stay there and they're gonna get charged and they're gonna get annihilated anyway. And the Flagellants are probably gonna get killed in this turn. So what happened is like, well, the Temple Guard, the Flagellants, the flails are crazy, but they actually managed to just land one wound on the Temple Guard because of the 5+ ward save from the Shield of Safri. And after that, there was pretty much nothing else to it that could be done. And then the unit of swordsmen with the Priest of Sigmar and the Mage, they tried to attack the unit, didn't cause any wounds. So then I decided to just bring all the attacks to the Flagellants. So it was like the 6 wounds were completely covered. Even with their ward save, they got annihilated. And then one of the guys actually attacked, because he was attacked on the flank, attacked back on over here on the unit of swordsmen, killed that one guy that was remaining, and killed the guy that was remaining. And then from there, what was next? Oh yeah, I mean, like the whole because this unit cannot be disrupted, so I can still claim my rank bonus. So the whole combat resolution went into the swordsman. They couldn't hold it. They have to roll a double 1. They actually rolled a double 6, ran into the steam tank, and you know what that means? It's bye-bye. So they ran down, and they got destroyed, and then this unit reformed to face the steam tank. So I'm gonna see if I can just use everything possible over here to just destroy the steam tank, and that'll be GG. And these guys will just charge over here. So it was, at a certain point, there was some control from the Empire. The only problem is like the throws were terrible, and the decisions by Grok were pretty accurate. It's like, considering that he created the list, I mean, it's like, this is it, this was the outcome, and the key decisions were made by him. But overall, they didn't have any bad units. But the problem, I think, in general, or in a bigger context, is that and the lesson that I learned about the Soros warriors, or the lizardmen, just go forward. Just go forward. If you just, because these are units that have 2 attacks. They got like a lot of armor piercing, very good toughness and strength. If you just protect stuff, I mean, it's just, you're just wasting them. Just use skink skirmishers maybe, or just some skinks with javelins to protect maybe, or take an objective. Other than that, you're just wasting them. They're not good. You're not using at their full potential if you just don't march them forward, or push them forward. With the Empire, of course, it's the other way around. You can hold, and it's better if you hold, like big units like this one. Obviously, his detachment would have to be used more wisely, because the swordsman unit was a detachment, and then it lose all the bonifications. I just added them just because, why not? But that's the other thing about these random lists, is like, in random deployments, you can have a detachment and it's going to be deployed somewhere else, and it's not gonna work. It's just going to be a problem. But that's the nature of these random lists, is what gives it that special unknown factor. And there's not a lot of magical weapons, so you cannot rely on that. Maybe you don't get one, you can fall on the 0%, so no magic weapons. You can just have one magic banner if you want. But that's the thing. And and not putting a battle standard bearer also hinders the unit, because in the role of the things that he was taken in the randomizer, Grok actually didn't allow this unit to have a captain, so there was no battle standard bearer, no way of re-rolling anything. So yeah, that's just that, And at the beginning of the game, I also roll a dice to see if I am going to play the Empire or I'm going to play the lizardmen. But in this case, I play the lizardmen. Anyway, so yeah, it's like, it's almost GG at this point. We'll just have to see what happens over here, some charges, and yeah, then we'll close up the game. Anyway, it's up to Lizardman turn 3. Alright, end of Lizardman turn 3, and end of the game at this point. That was a terrible mistake to charge with the Ogre Bulls. First of all, they got 4 wounds before. The Brace of Pistols managed to land a couple of wounds, and then the stomp attacks didn't do any damage. The impact hit, sorry, and then pretty much just with the whole great weapons, those were at last, and those didn't even have to land. The ones from the General and the Elector of Sigmar. But with just the halberds, they just clean house, so they got completely killed. It would have been much better if I just hold them over there and just charge with something else, or just avoid charging this unit. Just shoot it with this 2 and just avoid charging it at any cost, because it's a really tough unit, and it has like it had Soulfire and it had Oaken Shield, so it was pretty much indestructible by anything that I have. But regardless, over here, war machines were killed. Everything was killed. Charging to the steam tank, and since it charged, it has Armor Vein of 1, and it already has 1, and the Obsidian Bladed Sea has another 1. So it had to use 6s to roll, and it was perfectly 8 wounds. So it got completely destroyed. The cannons are gonna get destroyed. The baggage train is just gonna get captured or destroyed, whatever it is. The only units that actually were killed were the Jungle Swarms and the Badlands Ogres. And summation, it could pretty much come close to maybe 500, but for the Empire, it's like 2,000 points. So it's like a crushing defeat for the Empire. Not bad decisions by Grok, but obviously the list had a lot of handicaps. Of course, there were cannons and the Hell Blaster and everything. Like the first handicap that the list had in itself was the mortars. They were not going to do anything. I mean, like these mortars are not for killing armies that have high toughness. They're not gonna land any wounds, and they're gonna scatter, and they're not gonna do anything. Cannons, that's all right. That's fine. You know, you get your grape shots, everything. So that was mistake number one. Hell Blaster, I wouldn't use it as well. High toughness units, long range, everything. It's not worth, you know, the juice is not worth the squeeze. It's just not gonna make enough wounds with units with high toughness. So that's mistake number two. But of course, it's a random list, doesn't matter. The other mistake, changing the wolf hammers for the regular hammers for the wolf hammers, made this unit so weak that it got completely annihilated by the Cold One riders. So stick with the barding, the shield, the parry, and the heavy armor, and you can resist more, you can stand more, you know. Of course, you're not going to do any damage, but the idea is that that unit is resilient, that it stays in its place, and it's stubborn to just stay in place. And it happened, you know. Surprise was the flagellants, you know. That ward safe and unbreakable, and if you join them with a warrior priest, they get more powerful. So that's good. That's a good place to put like a priest of Sigmar or something like that. So just make them extra powerful. With the flail and charge and hatred, they can really do a lot of damage. The only problem is they got no armor save, but you're always counting with when it comes to them. If you're gonna go against somebody that doesn't really have like a lot of ranged weapons, so just make sure it is like that. And of course, you can also cast one of those prayers of Sigmar that will make it difficult to land ballistic shots against them. So good unit. Very expensive, but it hold the Temple Guard for a while, but later on, it's just gonna get mutilated. Temple Guard is really, really, really powerful. 2 attacks on the front, then the other 2 lines in the back can attack, so you get like 10, 20, you're looking at 10, you're looking at 5, 10, 15, 20 attacks, plus 1, because they don't get disturbed by the guy that's in front, so it's just so many attacks. Any unit is just going to get dismembered by them. But yeah, I mean, like overall, I mean, the Steam Tank did a couple of wounds against this unit. Temple Guard just ended up destroying them. And it didn't even cast its assailment spell. It's not very good. It's corporeal on making, I think, or something like that. But anyway, even if the Steam Tank stayed in combat, I mean, this is what's just going to charge over there. So let's add the Steam Tank to the amount of units that were remaining from the Empire, and it could be around maybe 1,000. Taking these two away, yeah, it's like close to 1,000 between the big block and the Steam Tank. Still, the rest of the units have been murdered, so they have been destroyed. So there is absolutely nothing that could be done. But that's it. That will be the end. And anyway, so well. Victory for the lizardmen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next Cheap Hammer battle report.